This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. And
all right, Devin, big moment for you. First time ever hosting.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
So, coming into the season, I feel like when we looked at the schedule of the Minnesota Vikings, it was pretty consensual that you better get off to a hot start before the bye. Because then after the bye, there's just good team after good team after good team, and it's going to be tough to win those games. But now that we're actually behind the bye and we're in this quote-unquote gauntlet, it's looking a little bit easier. We already talked a little bit about Philly's struggles. And then after that, the Vikings travel to L.A. to face the Chargers on a Thursday night. Thursday night games are always weird, but Chargers are a little banged up. And the last 3 weeks, they haven't looked as dominant as they did in the first 2. And then you're going to Detroit. That'll be a tough game. They look to turn it around after week 1. But then you got the Ravens. And the Ravens are sitting at, 1-5?
Yeah.
And Lamar could possibly be back, but maybe he's out. And that defense has looked horrendous. So my question for you is, what record do the Vikings need in these next 4 games for a legitimate shot at making the playoffs?
Well, first off, I do want to say that was a very Dan Barrero-like question, so very lengthy. I appreciate it. I had sent this text to Common, and I don't think he ever got to it a day or 2 ago. Through 5 weeks, do you know who's had the easiest schedule in the National Football League? That would be your Minnesota Vikings.
That was my guess.
Only 3-2 against the easiest schedule in the National Football League. The rest of the way, do you know who has the hardest schedule in the National Football League? And this is all based off of current standings, right? That would be your Minnesota Vikings. We are going from the easiest to the hardest. I know you're focusing on the next 4 games, but even after those 4 games, there ain't a lot of easy spots the rest of the way. Now, for the next 4, I had said before the season, hey, you got to be 4-1 after 5 games. Because that is going to be a challenge. Did not get to the 4-1 mark. Now, that 4-game stretch you're talking about maybe doesn't look as challenging as what it once did, right? Like 4 weeks ago, we thought of Philadelphia Eagles as one of the best teams in football. I think they're still a good quality team. I still think it's still going to be a tough game. The LA Chargers got off to a 3-0 start. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs in their first game. They looked like they were one of the best teams in the AFC. They have fallen apart since. Apparently, it's just playing the Giants makes teams fall apart. But I still think at LA on a short week, I think that's a challenge. At Detroit, they might be one of the best teams in football. I think that's a challenge. And I am not ready to write off the 1-5 Baltimore Ravens. Part of the reason they are 1-5 is the health of Lamar Jackson. Clearly, their defense hasn't been as good as we are accustomed to, but there is a big difference between Lamar Jackson and Cooper Rush leading the way for the Baltimore Ravens. And that one's still 4 weeks away. I'm imagining that Lamar Jackson is healthy by them. And I would not write off the Ravens, by the way. I don't know what Lamar's status is for this week. If he is 100% ready to go, I can easily see the Ravens going on a 9-1 in a 10-game stretch because I think they are good enough to do that with Lamar. So my point being, this upcoming 4-game stretch, I probably at one point would have said we're going 1-3, 0-4 during that stretch. Now I think if you go 2-2, I'd be okay with that. If you go 3-1, I'm going, we got ourselves a legitimate NFC contender on our hands.
That would be great.
That's what we're talking. We're talking about a 6-3 team that just got through that gauntlet. Now, it doesn't get much easier after that. I mean, Chicago in week 11, they're respectable. At Green Bay is going to be tough. At Seattle is going to be tough. Washington and Jaden Daniels is going to be tough. even at Dallas, as awful as their defense is, and we should be able to go up and down the field on them, Dak Prescott in that offense is good enough that they can stay in games. So that's that's not a gimme. At New York, I still think they're going to be a bottom team in the NFC, but Jackson Dart's given them a little bit of a spark, and it's on the road. And then you finish with Detroit and Green Bay. So there ain't a gimme the rest of the way. So I don't know if I answered your question, but yes, I am concerned about the schedule. It is imperative that this team is healthy the rest of the way. The lineup and the roster we've had to play the last 3-4 weeks will not fare well against this schedule.
No,
but if the offensive line is healthy, if your key players on defense is healthy, we do have a chip at a chair, I think, in all of these games.
Question number 2.
So, looking at some preseason odds coming into the season,
okay.
The top 5 teams before the season started were Philadelphia, Buffalo, Baltimore, Kansas City, and Green Bay to win the big game.
Yep.
And all of those teams, at least to me, have some holes. Philly, we've already talked about a little bit. Buffalo, I looked at their schedule, and it looks like their only wins are against the Jets, Dolphins, and Saints.
They might be the weirdest of them all.
It's so odd. And then the other teams, the Ravens, they could definitely figure out that defense. I don't want to completely write them off either. And then Kansas City's just, they're so weird. But they have the winning formula.
They're going to be good.
They are. But
they're another team that they've had a challenging schedule.
They have. So, since all of those teams have questions, do you think they're still the favorites in the NFL to make the big game, or do you like someone else? Like the Colts have gone off to a good start. What do you think about them? Like,
it's hard to fully analyze the Colts because there was zero expectations on Indy going into the season. They haven't been on one of those nationally televised games, right? They haven't been on a Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night. They're not playing in that primary 3:30 game against an AFC power. So all of my knowledge about Indianapolis is basically watching ESPN NFL Game Day and looking at box scores.
I feel like I'm in the same boat too.
And, I know their schedule hasn't been the toughest, but they've been dominating their schedule. It's not like they barely got by Arizona this week, but a lot of these games when they're playing the Tennessees of the world, I mean, they're punishing these teams. They're putting up 40 points. I still need to watch a Daniel Jones game in Indy first before I make a strong conclusion on them. But I would still think, even though Buffalo's been struggling, a lot of these teams, there is not a clear-cut perfect team in the NFL right now. Every team, you can write a flaw on all of them and explain why they are not going to advance. But Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. Andy Reid is still Andy Reid. They seem like they figured it out the last couple weeks. They beat a pretty darn good Detroit team at home. They're getting Rashee Rice back this week, who is their best pass catcher.
That's going to be huge.
After getting Xavier Worthy back. So they were without their 2 best options in the passing game for a good chunk of the season. They haven't been able to run the ball. Defensively, they've been a little but they were a little better against Detroit. I still think, and it's the boring cliche way to go, I'm still pushing chips in on the Kansas City Chiefs if I can, despite of the 3-3 record. And Buffalo, I still think I can't imagine New England Patriots are going to be better than the Buffalo Bills by the end of the year. Maybe Drake May and that crew will surprise me, but the AFC is weird, right? I mean,
really is.
As Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh, I don't look at the Steelers as their playoff team. I don't look at them as big game contenders. I don't look at the Colts yet, and like I said, I got to watch them. Chargers and Broncos both at 4-2. They both have flaws. You'd like to think New England's going to be improved, but are they going to go from like a 5-win team to being a big game contender? That doesn't happen very often. Usually you're taking steps up. So I'll still go with the Chiefs in the AFC, and maybe I'm on my own at this point.
I think I'm kind of with you for the most part.
Okay.
If I had to pick the Super Bowl matchup right now, it'd probably be Chiefs-Lions. But
just the game we saw last week on Sunday Night Football. That'd be a heck of a matchup in the big game. I know I told you 5 questions. That's not how it works on the show. Usually the 5 turns into 3, but today it just turned into 2.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
On the other side of this break, before we get to NFL spread swing in about 15 minutes, we'll do the more you know, and let's talk about the Minnesota Wild a little bit. It's a little early to panic on the 5-on-5 play.
KFAN.
Tanner Fitzgerald sails on. NFL spread swing in about 10 minutes. Devin's with me as well. Devin, we like to learn something every day whenever we're on the Tanner Fitzgerald.
The more you know.
You ready to learn something?
Absolutely.
Trivia question for you.
Uh-oh.
Which country in the world has the most pyramids?
Pyramids? Egypt.
You're going with Egypt.
Le who? The her.
We've been fooled our entire lives into thinking Egypt was like the king of the pyramids. Egypt right now has, that we know of, 118 pyramids that have been discovered.
That's it?
There's another country with over 220 pyramids, almost double what Egypt has. And we're not talking like fake structures now put up. We're talking about real ancient structures. These pyramids get basically no tourists, no media attention. They are just ruins that are quietly sitting in the desert in Africa. They were built by a forgotten empire named the Kingdom of Kush. And now their pyramids were smaller, steeper, tightly packed. And for centuries, they laid buried beneath the sand. And even today, many of these pyramids remain unexcavated. So we still don't know the full story that is hiding beneath them. The actual pyramid capital of the world is a country called Sudan. You did not know that, did you?
I did not.
The more you know.
I do want to talk a little bit of Minnesota Wild. 4 games into the season, they are 2-2. And the panic I'm sensing on social media from Wild fans, and let's face it, there's constant panic with Wild fans, is they are concerned about the lack of 5-on-5 goal scoring. And the team has not scored a 5-on-5 goal now in 3 games. Now they've scored 9 straight power play goals. Their power play is absolutely outrageous. And there's a couple different components to this. One, are people just now learning 4 weeks in or 4 games in that we don't have scoring depth? Like, I'm just not like flustered by this. Like, this is my expectation was we weren't going to have a lot of scoring depth. Mm-hmm. So the fact that we don't have a lot of scoring depth has not blown my mind to this stage. And when you complicate that with a player in your top 6 and Matt Zuccarello's out for a while, and a 4th-line center, Nico Sturm, is out. When fully healthy, this team needed more offensively and didn't have the depth to overcome injuries. Now, we didn't know how some of the young guys were going to perform, so I guess there was maybe still some hope that a Yurov or an Ogren is going to step up offensively and fill the void we've been missing. I think that eventually they will. It's probably not going to happen this season, at least to a consistent rate at a professional NHL level. But I never had expectations going into the season that, man, our 2nd, 3rd, 4th lines are just going to be rolling and we're just going to throw 4 lines at teams and going to be scoring. We knew they were top heavy. Right now, they're extremely top happy. Mm-hmm. And it's in a good way in that for the longest time we've been wanting star power here. We have superstars. Kirill Kaprizov is a superstar and he's playing like it right now. Matt Boldy, I believe, is going to be a superstar. He's playing at a superstar level right now. Enjoy that you have superstars. Enjoy that they're playing at an elite level. Enjoy that the power play, which we've been crying about for the last 13, 14 years, has exploded to another level. And I don't care how the goals go in. I don't care if they're 5-on-5. I don't care if they're power play. I don't care if they're shorthanded. The Wild are scoring goals right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are a top 10 team in the league in scoring goals. They are averaging 3.5 goals per game. And you know what? They've done that without one of those fake, cheapy, empty net goals to add on to it, right? Dallas had 2 empty net goals the other night. Mm-hmm. So it looks like they had a great scoring night. They scored 5 goals. They didn't. They got 3 and 2 cheapies. We've yet to add a cheapie to our total, and we're still a top 10 team in the league. And if you have concerns, to me, the fact that we've given up 3.75 goals per game and have not looked the same defensively, that is more of a concern to me than the 5-on-5 scoring. Now, there's equity there. Jared Spurgeon historically has been a good player. Jonas Brodin historically has been a good player. He's coming off of an injury. He didn't have a chance to prepare. Brock Faber has looked a little rough at moments. I've seen 2 years of Brock Faber where he looks like an ascending young NHL defenseman. I have a belief that Brock Faber is going to turn it around. Maybe the most encouraging player has been Zeev Buium.
Oh, yeah.
Very young. Was he 19, 20 years old? Defenseman. We saw him in the postseason last year, and he was just thrown right into the mix out of the University of Denver without playing a regular season game. Why don't you jump right into postseason hockey against the Vegas Golden Knights? And was playing a limited role. And there's an adjustment period there. There's no doubt there's an adjustment. And he got a healthy scratch after the first couple games. He looks different this year.
Oh, yeah.
And right out of the gate in game 1, you can tell his mentality was different than what we saw last year. Last year was, I'm trying not to make mistakes. I don't want to screw up. This year it's, I'm going to be a player on this team. And even in the first game or two, he made mistakes. He was fumbling pucks. He was whiffing on shots. He would randomly toe pick and lose an edge and fall over for no reason. But he has progressively now from game 1 to game 4 this season has looked better every game. And I thought the Dallas game was the best he's looked. He's going to add to your 5-on-5 offense. Even if you don't, I get it. You're not happy with Marcus Johansson on the second line. I get it. When Marcus Foligno started the season on the second line, you weren't happy with that. That is just the way we are built and constructed right now. Mm-hmm. There is a reason, fans don't want to hear this, there's a reason Bill Guerin and Craig Leopold were basically a year ago were like, hey, we're in year 2 of a 5-year process. They are not through the 5-year process yet. This is a building thing. It's going in the right direction. I like the way it's going, but this is, to me, and I mentioned this with Common yesterday, I believe. To me, if you want a successful extended postseason run for the 2025-2026 season, the blueprint for me is Kaprizov, Boldy, Eriksson, stay healthy and perform the way they are performing. Mm-hmm. So that you are, I'm not expecting they're going to be number 1 in the Western Conference with that roster, but you just want to be in the mix where you can be buyers come trade deadline. That's all you need to do here.
Yep.
Is you don't have to be the top team in the West. As long as you're in the playoff mix or even in the top 8 of the playoffs in the West, be in the mix. And come trade deadline, as we were just talking with Dane Moore about Timberwolves, will they be big game hunting? For the first time ever, we are in a financial position where come trade deadline, we can be big game hunting. And we can actually make additions to help our team in areas that we have flaws. We haven't been able to address that in previous years. The team we're going into the deadline with, that's your team going in the playoffs. You're watching everyone else getting better while you stay the same. This is finally a different team. Now, it's on the Wild and the team to be in the mix to do that with the current roster that is assembled. And they're probably going to have to stay healthy to put themselves in that position. But now you are in a position where salary cap wise, if we want to make a move before the trade deadline, we can go get a top 6 forward somewhere else that can now supplement the void we are currently missing. But there's so many people that are like, why is Johansson playing on the second line? Why is Foligno playing on the second line? I get it. They are not second line players on a Stanley Cup winning team, on a team that can make an extended run. But I also think people just think the coaching staff is just idiots. Why would you play them there? They see these guys in practice and training camp every single day. I'm sure, and it takes a while for young players to adjust to unless you are a complete superstar out of the gate, there is an adjustment period. The limited we've seen of Urov, I've actually liked him so far. Mm-hmm. Ogren just looks like another bottom 6 checking line forward to me. I do think Buium is going to be able to add offensively, and we're starting to see that. That is starting to grow. I think he's going to be winning the Calder this year because he's going to lead the National Hockey League for rookies in terms of scoring. He's going to do it as a defenseman. But I would just say, like I said earlier, I just want goals scored. I don't care whether they're power play or 5-on-5. And if you're one of those that says, well, they can't keep scoring at this rate on the power play, I agree with you, but then I could also make that same argument for 5-on-5. Mm-hmm. If they were out there 5-on-5, struggling to get shots on goals, struggling to get scoring chances, I'd be more concerned. First 10 minutes against Dallas, they were all over them. They had plenty of chances, ran into a hot goalie. That entire third period when they're trying to make the comeback, plenty of chances. They put up 52 shots on the Columbus Blue Jackets. They scored against St. Louis. Scoring's not been an issue. The 5-on-5 will come around just as the power play is not going to be clipping at this rate all season long. Do I think they're going to be a great 5-on-5 team? No, because they don't have the depth to do it. But to think like Kaprizov and Boldy aren't going to score 5-on-5 here in the next 4 or 5 games, and you won't get occasionally adding in some other goals from some others, and maybe Zeev Bouillon's going to add a 5-on-5, I don't believe that end of it either. If you want to have a little concern, that's fine, but I think the concern is a little bit overrated. All right, even though Common is out, he is joining next segment. So is Deuce. So is Mark Rosen. NFL Spread Swing is back next right here on the Fitz.
The Fan and 2 Minute Junk Truck want to give you a shot to win some bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest. Enter the keyword credit at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword credit. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
Yeah, it's a 1:30 on a Thursday. You know what time it is.
Spread Swing.
We got Mark Rosen sitting across from me in the KFAN studios. Hi, Mark.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking.
Even though he's not here today, even on his off day, even on his vacation when he is resting, probably playing golf somewhere, he's still willing to join because he is committed to the NFL Spread Swing segment. He's the common man, Dan Cole. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Standing on the first tee box at Stone Ridge, also known as Killdeer. That's the name of the hole. We go from Killdeer to Stone to Trial, Bent to Plateau to Elm to Redan, Top, and then Breather. Those are your first 9. We don't refer to them by their numbers. We refer to them by their names.
Can you explain to me how it is MEA weekend, everyone across the state of Minnesota, all the kids don't have school, Thursday, Friday off. Your kids are adults. I have kids that are all in school that are currently at home that I am paying a babysitter to watch. Why are you off on vacation while I'm working today?
Yeah, how'd this work out?
I don't understand. I don't know why you would. I guess I was up to you. I just, baby brother Peter came back for fall break. He's got 2 days and he wanted to play golf. And because, that's the kind of dad I am, I sacrificed and said, all right, I guess I'll play 36 with you today and 36 on Friday.
Well, it sounds like you're spending a lot of time with baby brother Peter, but not spending any time with Deuce. What's going on, Deuce?
Yeah,
little of this, little of that, emphasis on the lat, and I'm excited to get into the week's recap. I was mocked and ridiculed for some of my predictions, but I gained points. In other words, the Earth has stopped tilting on its axis, and pigs have flown. But it's I'm having a great day, just chugging along through work, and then I'll be home for the evening, and I'm getting excited for Husker!
Oh, my.
Power! Getting ready for tomorrow.
The invasion of the Big Red in the Twin Cities tomorrow. It's going to be...
I might play white or blue-white combo.
Oh, God.
What teams do you guys want to play? I think we're going to do blue-white combo. Yeah, let's do blue-white combo. We're going to do the blue-white combo, about 6,300 yards.
Deuce, are you going to be at Huntington Bank Stadium tomorrow night?
I will be at Huntington Bank. I think I still got to take a look for tickets. I'm hoping that the prices go down because right now you kind of have to fork over an arm and a leg if you want to get into Huntington Bank. But I'm hoping that the prices come down and people come to their
you've got connections.
Wait a minute.
Can you get Deuce some tickets?
Ask your old man to kind of dig into that pocket of his and just fork over some hard cash.
He did it for your flight.
Yeah, come on.
I do spell that.
Rosie, you're the one with the connections. You're the one that's got all the tickets.
I'm going to see Paul McCartney. I'm not going to be. I'll be monitoring the score, but I'll be at US Bank tomorrow night. A different
stadium.
Like
being Mark Rose.
Well, I mean, we're having. I think we're having dinner tonight. Me and Paul. So we're gonna catch up a little later on. Oh, I'm just kidding. Of course, that's not going to happen.
Deuce, quickly before we get to spread swing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I trust your football analysis to ask you this, but can you preview Nebraska for us?
Well, we got miniature Patrick Mahomes and Dylan Raiola, but he's not the player to watch on offense. That would be Emmett Johnson. That's our guy. He's one of us. He's from the Academy of Holy Angels. And I saw a little video today. It was him and a couple other Nebraska players talking about kind of their journeys to Division I football. And Emmett said the only Power 1 offer he got, or only Power 5 offer he got, was from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. He wanted to be a Gopher, but they didn't offer him. They didn't really look his way too much. So I got a feeling he's coming off of a career-high 176 rushing yards, and I think he's going to run roughshod over the Gophers' defense tomorrow evening as the 25th-ranked Huskers pick up a nice victory. I don't think they'll cover their 8.5-point spread, but we've seen 8.5 points is a lot, but we've seen how I do against the spread. So I don't. I'd pick Minnesota to cover, but
the
Huskers might go and win by 13 or 14 points.
We really wanted you to pick Nebraska, so we could go cash in on the Minnesota Gophers.
Correct.
I couldn't do that to my alma mater.
All right, let's talk about last week's scores and NFL spread swing. So going into the week, Common was in the lead with 49.5 points. Rosen in second with 30.5. I was in third with 1.5. And Deuce was in last with minus 56. We'll begin with the Common man, Dan Cole. Common, you had Detroit plus 1.5. They did not fare too well in Kansas City. They lost by 13 to the Chiefs. So you lost 11.5 points there, but you did gain a bunch of it back. Yeah, you believed in Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They beat the Browns 23-9. So a 14-point win. You had a -6. You gained 8 there. So on the week, you lost 3.5. You dropped to 46.5 points. Rosen, you also split just like Common.
Right.
You had Tampa Bay -3 against San Fran. They won by 11, so you gained 8. But you took the opposite side of Deuce and lost. I don't know how that's possible.
How would that possibly happen? What game was that?
You had Buffalo -4.5 against the Falcons, and they lost by 10.
Yeah, they didn't care.
So you lost 14.5 points. So on the week, you lost 6.5 points.
All right.
You dropped down to 24. I actually gained points, even though I split as well. I had Las Vegas -3.5 against Tennessee. They won by 10. I gained 6.5. I also had the Chargers -3.5 against Miami. Well, they only beat by 2 points, so I did lose 1.5 there. I gained 5 on the week. I'm now up to 6.5. And yes, Deuce was correct. For the first time ever, Deuce has gained points in NFL spread swing. He had Atlanta plus 4.5. I'll be honest, at the time when you picked that one, Deuce, I'm like, they are not going to win this game. And they won by 10. Mm-hmm. So you gained 14.5 points there. You also had Indianapolis -7 against Zona. They won the game, but only by 4. So you lost 3 points. But Deuce did improve from -56 to -44.5. So Common's in first, Rosen's in second, I'm in third, Deuce is in fourth. So our order today will be Deuce, Tanna, Rosen, and Common. Let's do NFL spread swing. Spread swing.
So what we've seen so far in this 2025 season is that any team can beat any team, really. The Eagles and Bills seem to be like two of the clear-cut contenders in their conferences, and they still very well could be, but they both have looked pretty bad in the past couple of weeks. Any team can beat any team on any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday. It doesn't matter what day they play them. But one team that I don't think will lose this weekend is the Chicago Bears.
Wow.
They're at home against the New Orleans Saints. And while I don't think the Saints are necessarily the worst team in the league, they are certainly among that bunch down with they're maybe a half step above the Jets or the Tennessee Titans. But I think the Bears are coming off of three straight victories, I believe. And they look solid. And I'm not saying that Washington is by any stretch the best team in the league or the best team in the NFC. But going on the road to pick up a nice victory like that in prime time, even if it was by the skin of their teeth, it's impressive. And I think the Chicago Bears are starting to come into their own. And I will take the Bears to beat them Saints at Soldier Field. I'll give up the 4.5 and take the Bears.
I can't believe that my top choice was sniped by Deuce. I don't know how I should feel about that. I'm now starting to question how I was viewing this week.
I think I saved you rather than sniped.
Yeah, probably.
Spread swing.
I'm hitting another one.
All right, I had Chicago as my top choice. I'm going to have to pivot here, and I'm going to stay in the NFC North. I'm going to stay with your Minnesota Vikings.
What? Wow, you sniped me.
They're plus 1.5 against the Philadelphia Eagles. This Eagles team is not the same Eagles team that we saw last year. Their offense has been bad. They are 28th in the NFL in yards per play. Minnesota's defense, by the way, on the other hand, second in EPA, and they get cash in, cash out back. They maybe get Van Ginkel back. Their offensive line looks like they're going to get 4 of their 5 starters healthy and ready to go. Historically, if you take the Minnesota Vikings as underdogs at home, that usually pays off for you. I'm going to take the 1.5 points. I'm going to say Skull Vikings.
Good pick.
And I am taking the Minnesota Vikings plus 1.5.
How about that?
Spread swing.
Well, I'm going to go with the road team.
Rosenstern.
My turn. Yeah, go with the road team and a hot team right now. I think this is going to be the revenge. You want to call it a revenge game. Mike Vrabel against the Tennessee Titans. Drake May against the Tennessee Titans.
Ooh.
They just fired Brian Callahan. Tennessee's kind of a hot mess, and New England is a legitimate playoff contending type team right now. They've turned things around with their young quarterback and a nice supporting cast, and I think Vrabel's going to have those guys wound up to play his old team, and it's a lot of points to give, but I'll give the 7, and because I don't think Tennessee's going to score much, so I'll take the Patriots, the reborn Patriots.
Sometimes teams get inspired by the coaching changes, though. They might want to play for the new guy.
Sure.
Sometimes it works out that way.
Good luck with that.
Win one for the Gipper.
Yeah. Who's the coach, though? Who knows?
I don't even know. Some interim guy.
Yeah, of course. All right.
Spread swing. Where'd you hit it on 1?
Well, I hit it right up the gut. Then I chunked a wedge, and it's here's computer fired up. I thought it was my turn on spread swing.
Oh no!
Oh,
but now I just hit a brilliant little sand wedge to gimme range. So I'm going to make a 4 on the first hole. I'm on pace to shoot 72.
Nice, incredible.
Well done.
Do I need to fire the music for you? Hold on, I wasn't prepared for this.
Go with the
Hold on.
We don't have to fire. We know what I'm going with.
You can't hear it anyway. All right, go ahead.
Oh, there it is. No, I did hear it. I could hear it beautifully.
You can hear it, okay.
My team they've had 4 wins in which they look really good against some competition that left a lot to be desired. They play 2 pretty good teams. Well, one, I think Kansas City might be back if they were ever gone anywhere. Green Bay was a gooder. So we've lost to 2 good teams, 1-4. Mayfield, this is dangerous. The only reason I don't feel too bad about taking the Kitties is because it is at home. So I got to stick with it. I'll have to take the Kitties at home against Tampa Bay.
Stand up, Ford Field! Stand up!
Spread swing. Can you still not hear Deuce?
That we've taken a look at. all the games that we've taken a look at so far, they feature at least one team that, has some playoff aspirations, or it's got potential to be an exciting matchup. And I'm going to take a look at one of the least exciting games that we've seen in the 2025 season. We're going to look at the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins. First of all, they're playing the game at Huntington Bank Field, and I'm real confused by that. I don't know why they would have a game at a neutral site in the middle of the NFL season. Why are they playing at the Gophers Stadium?
At a college stadium,
that?
Yeah, it's really bizarre. I don't know why they would do it.
A day after Nebraska and Gophers.
Yeah, it's literally just they'll leave a full day Saturday. I guess that's probably why they're doing the Friday game, is so that they have all of Saturday to prepare the stadium for the Browns and the Dolphins. But I don't think this neutral site will have too much of an impact on the game. I think that these are two terrible teams with terrible cities and terrible fans. But Miami has a much worse defense. The Browns' defense is going to impose their will. And I like the Browns' running back duo of Judkins and Ford, mostly Judkins. He's been real solid during this season, and I think the run game is going to be the key to the Browns' success. Again, it's not going to be a very exciting game, but I think with a low point spread, this one has some rout potential. I think the Browns will defeat the Dolphins, and I'll give up the 2.5 points.
Wow.
Spread swing.
I do have interest in another really bad game, Carolina, New York, but I'm going to avoid that one. I'm going to go to the other game that involves a New York team. That would be the Giants at +7 at Denver. The Denver Broncos -7. Ooh. The Giants coming off a game in which biggest win they've had in quite some time, right? Jackson Dart leads them to a 34-17 victory over their division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the defending NFL Super Bowl champions. You know what that means this week? Letdown game. Emotional letdown from the New York Giants. Plus, Common, guess what? They got to travel from New York to Denver. You got 2-hour time zone difference. You got jet lag, and you've got altitude. Jackson Dart hasn't played in the altitude. The Denver Broncos are going to rout the New York Giants because the New York Giants played their Super Bowl last week, and now they're going to be let down. I'm going to go Broncos -7 against the New York.
I'm about to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
That's interesting.
Romney
got in a couple days in advance.
Yeah, I just thought Romney was all I really needed to say.
That's all you need to say.
That's brilliant. All right, Rosen, you're up.
Yeah, thank you.
I was also going to go with Denver.
You like Denver. You like that Denver club.
I like that Denver club. We have a wager. They're going to beat Kansas City. I don't know if I feel that good about that. I'm going to go stay in that division, though. And I think that the Colts bubble is going to burst a little bit. Traveling to SoFi, where the Vikings play next Thursday, by the way, as we all know, against the same Chargers team. The Chargers are 1.5 favorite against a hot Indianapolis team with Danny Dimes. But I like the Chargers team. I think the Colts may have a little bit of a rude awakening this week. So I will go with the Chargers. It's only 1.5, so I kind of like the opportunity to potentially gain some points here. So I'll go with the LA Chargers. Superchargers at home. 1.5 point favorites against the Colts.
Spread swing.
All right, Common, you got the last pick.
How are the Bears only? They're favored by what? 5.5?
4.5.
Only 4.5 points against the Saints? Is that game at Wrigley?
Deuce already picked the Bears. You were probably taking a shot at the time.
Oh, I was hitting the ball. Oh, no. He sniped me there.
Well, yeah, he took him first, and then I complained that was my number one choice, so I got sniped. So maybe we're all wrong.
You guys are welcome. I've probably saved both of you. The Saints will most likely pull the upset.
It's the Bears still. Keep that in mind.
Well, now I don't know what to do. I don't have the games in front of me.
You want me to go through them all for you?
Just rattle off a couple. I'll grab one quick.
Pittsburgh is -5 and 5.5 at Cincinnati tonight. You got the Rams -3 versus Jacksonville at London. Carolina -1 at the New York Jets. Kansas City -12.5 at Las Vegas.
No, that's at home.
I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Yeah, they're at home to Las Vegas.
Right.
You can take the Miami side +2.5 against Cleveland. You can take the Tennessee side +7 against New England. Sounds like you don't want to take the Saints. You can take Philadelphia -1.5 against the Vikings. Indianapolis +1.5 against the Chargers. Giants +7 against.
I'll take the Vikings. I'll take the Vikings.
No, they're gone too. That's why I said you can only take the Philadelphia side.
Who took the Vikings? Rosen?
I did.
No.
You haven't listened to a word in this segment, have you?
I can't. I'm playing golf. I should have just I made my picks.
This
and just gave me like Rosen. That's the smartest thing. I just piped it up the middle on Stone. Just a gorgeous drive.
Why do you take Sam Darnold? Sam Darnold and the Seahawks -3 against the Houston Texans.
I like that.
The Packers.
Yeah, that's good. I will take that. Absolutely.
You like Seattle
I love
-3?
Sammy. Old Sam Darnold had an arm. E-I-E-I-O. I'll take Seattle for sure.
All right, well, keep hitting them straight and strong.
Have fun.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you soon.
I was going to give credit. I was going to give credit to him for taking the time to out of his day, even on vacation, to spend time with the segment, and he didn't listen to a word.
I was going to say that comments seem distracted, but pretty much that's every day.
Yes, that's basically me doing 5 questions with him. That's
right. That's it.
Deuce, enjoy the game tomorrow night, but expect a Drake Lindsay Gophers update tomorrow night, or upset tomorrow night.
Okay. It's Go Big Red. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, see ya.
Take care, Deuce.
All right, that's it for NFL Spread Swing. Mark Rosen in studio for the next hour, and I do want to talk about, are we starting to get a little bit of clarity on maybe the quarterback situation for the Minnesota Vikings? We'll talk about that next with Rosie.